Hello and welcome everyone. Today in the lab, I'm going to be talking about the reality of being a new YouTuber. This is going to involve me talking about some common challenges, experiences, and emotions that us new YouTubers might often face. Let's get started. I did borrow the thumbnail, title, description, and hook for this video from another new YouTuber named Jeremy Johannes, who is blowing up right now with a similar video. So what I would like to do now is cut in and respond to some of Jeremy's currently exploding video to both add to what he is saying, but also to offer my own suggestions. So let's get back to challenge number one.
And challenge number one is when you work really hard on a video and it doesn't perform how you expect it to or you hope it to. This is probably one of the most significant challenges and experiences that a new YouTuber will face, because that's what happens when you're starting out on YouTube. You don't have an audience yet, so you'll spend 15, 20, 25 hours. You spend all day editing, all day planning and making sure that the video is really good. And then you hit post and the next day you wake up, you check your YouTube Studio app and you see that it's got 3 views and 1 like, and that 1 like is from your mom.
This is so true, but I had to laugh a little bit at the part where he said 15, 20 hours or whatever it was, because there are videos I spent literally over 100 hours on. Like my first video, in fact. Since it was my first video, I count setting up the whole studio and like learning how to use Final Cut and all of that stuff. Literally to get my first video out, it was over 100 hours. And after a couple of weeks, I got a fair number of views, like 300 views or something and 20 subscribers, but it just absolutely flatlined after that. And it can be terribly frustrating. The video that I published that's responsible for actually most of the subscribers I have on this channel now, when I first published that, it only got 4 views for like the first 16 hours. And I remember being so frustrated because I was sure that that video was gonna do much better. And when it didn't do anything after 16 hours, which by the way, every other video before that had at least done something before that time, I thought, you know, this is crazy. I'm gonna take the video down. I'm gonna upload it to another completely new channel. You know, there's something wrong with the algorithm here, or I've screwed something up with my audience. And I just remember it being really frustrating and honestly just an emotional roller coaster until that video of mine finally took off. If you want to know how I finally did get a video to take off and get those 400 subscribers in the last 60 days, subscribe to the channel because the next video I do is going to be on how I did that. All right, let's get back to Jeremy's point number 2.
Challenge number 2 is you have to do absolutely everything yourself. Well, mostly everything yourself. That includes planning, scripting, filming, editing, making your thumbnails and your titles and your description, strategizing, all these things. Because you're a new YouTuber, you have to do it yourself. Well, it's actually great because you learn a lot of things along the way, but it takes up a lot of time.
This is so huge. Every single hat you wear as a YouTuber is a full-time profession out there in the real world. You know, anything from a producer to a copywriter to a script writer, graphic designer, videographer. You know, these are all like 6-figure paying jobs out there in the real world. And as a new YouTuber, not only do you have to like do all of this yourself, you have to learn how to do it well in order to be successful.
You can get really tired after a while of doing this consistently by yourself, especially video editing. Video editing takes probably the longest out of everything else when you're creating videos. It can be fun in the beginning, but after a while, unless you genuinely enjoy video editing, it can get really repetitive, especially when you're doing your rough cuts.
Ooh, and also editing taking so much time. Yes, I have a suggestion here to offer in terms of doing rough cuts. My first video, the rough cut for that literally took 3 days straight. After I did that, I knew there had to be a better way to do a rough cut. Shortly after that, I found text-based editing with Adobe Premiere Pro, the feature where AI will transcribe all of your video, and then you can literally go in and just like editing a text document, edit out the parts of the video that you don't need. Adobe Premiere Pro will automatically cut out all of the pauses and even filler words, even a pause as short as you taking a breath in between 2 sentences. And I found it makes the rough cut so much faster. I can do a rough cut now in literally 1 or 2 hours for a 10 to 20 minute video. So definitely, if you're struggling with rough cuts and editing, check out Adobe Premiere Pro. It's worth paying the money to save the time with those tools. But I do also want to pause for a moment and just ask the question, do you have to actually do it all yourself? This is something I've started wondering lately. My brother was helping one of his friends with his YouTube channel. He was doing some of the videography and he was doing some of the editing. So, I would just suggest you ask yourself, do you have to be doing this all yourself? Are there people in your life who could help you? Your spouse or a sibling or a really good friend, would be willing to engage in this venture with you if you are trying to do it as a business in exchange for some of the profits later down the road.
Challenge number 3 is the lack of access to equipment that you have. And let me first clarify that you shouldn't let the equipment, or more so the lack of equipment that you have, stop you from creating good content, because you can definitely still utilize the resources that you have and still create good high quality content. But as a new YouTuber, 99.9% of people who start out on YouTube, they mostly only have access to their phone. I'm fortunate enough to be able to have access to this camera that I'm currently filming on, which is the Sony ZV-1F, and this mic. That's what I've got. I've got my phone as well, but I don't really use that. However, there's a lot of other equipment that could be very useful for me that would help, number one, increase the quality of my videos, and number two, save a lot of time. And an example is something like a gimbal. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been trying to take B-roll for my YouTube channel so I can use in my future videos and maybe in this video.
I also do agree that you can produce really good results with a phone. A tip for doing B-roll is just use the slow-mo feature between the slow motion and the stabilization that's built into these cameras. A very quick movement while in slow mode will produce some unbelievable B-roll shots. I don't use a lot of them in, the stuff for this channel, but it's something I've thought about for other channels. So that's one small tip I could offer there. The first thing you should focus on before getting a new camera, before getting lighting, is actually your audio. Invest in a microphone first, improve your audio quality first. That's by far the most important thing.
Challenge number 4 is the idea of social proof. And this is when you're scrolling on your YouTube homepage, your YouTube browse page, and you see two similar videos. 99.5% of the time, if someone was to see a video about, let's say, how to journal, and it's got 250,000 views, and then you see another video right next to it that's got a similar title, maybe even the same title, how to journal, but it's got 16 views. Most of the time, people will click and they'll want to watch on that video that has 250,000 views because of this idea of social proof. So people already have a presumption that the video that has more views is more likely to deliver them more value. But the thing is, that video that's got 16 views might actually be the one that is better quality and is a better video. But because it's got less views, most people are not really willing to give it a chance. So they end up clicking on the video with more views. So then what happens is that video starts to get more and more views and it keeps climbing. And that video that's got 16 views or 15 views or whatever, it doesn't end up getting the chance to do well and for people to see the value that it can deliver. And that's what happens with new YouTubers, is because they don't have an audience yet, they don't have an established following. When they post a video, they won't get that many views. And then what ends up happening is new YouTubers will have a harder time building an audience.
Yeah, and for the most part, I agree with this and I think it is true. And I mean, the biggest suggestion I could offer here is, in my opinion, this is why I think it's a good idea to target search early on. Jeremy talks about 2 videos you might see in a recommendations page. The problem is that most of the stuff in suggested and recommended or on the homepage is like the cream of the crop. It's like the best all over on YouTube. Whereas if you target search, then that's the situation in which YouTube is going to return results that would give you an opportunity to stand out from the crowd. All right, let's check out Jeremy's 5th point.
Now, the 5th and final challenge is camera confidence. I remember the first time I picked up a camera and pressed that record button and talked to the camera, I was probably the most awkward I've ever been. What would happen is I would get really hyped up and really motivated and rehearse what I'm going to say, not word for word, but like what I'm going to talk about in the video. I would get really hyped up and motivate myself, and then as soon as I sit down and put the camera in front of me and press record, I would instantly go blank. I get a mind blank, and then it'll basically look like this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, record. crap, I forgot what to say. And this is probably what happens for 99.9%, if not 100% of people who are just starting out on YouTube and creating videos where they're talking right in front of the camera. At first, it can feel really awkward and really unnatural because you're literally staring into a lens. Like I'm staring into this black circle right now, and it feels really weird compared to talking to an actual human being. After creating videos for a while, the more you do it, you get used to it more and more. Like now, the amount of times I've stumbled and murmured my words and got mind blank and forgot what to say. So many times that's happened. But the more you do it, the better you get. Eventually, you'll get more and more natural at talking to the camera and talking to a black circle in front of your face.
Yep, that's another good one. I like what Peter Lindgren, another YouTuber, says about this. Apparently one of his friends was making fun of him, and he said, that's easy, all you do is talk to the camera. And he handed his friend the camera and he said, here, try it. Like, just do it. Like, turn on the camera, press record, and talk. It's way harder than it looks. I struggled with this. I'll cut in some video I have from one of my other YouTube channels, and my first videos were really awkward. Oh yeah, and then there's the whole black circle thing. I got uncomfortable with that as well, so I tried flipping out the LCD display on the back, and then I just found myself staring at that thing, and then the video was terrible because my eyes were always looking slightly off to the right. So there's a few really good suggestions I have for how to solve the camera confidence problem that have worked very well for me that I strongly recommend you check into. The first suggestion I have is fully script out your videos, everything you're gonna say exactly the way you're going to say it, and then use a teleprompter. But not just any teleprompter, a special kind of teleprompter setup that basically duplicates your computer to the teleprompter as well. So not only can you follow the teleprompter along, but you can also mirror your camera's LCD display right in front of you so that you can actually look at yourself as if you're looking at a mirror. Rather than just tell you, I could actually show you. I'll switch off of Jeremy's video here and I'll pull up my camera on my iPhone and I'll take a video and show you my setup here. So what I actually have is my Sony a7S III goes into my MacBook Pro here, and then this teleprompter has a display here that connects to my computer, and then my a7S III has the imaging, what is it called? It's called Imaging Edge Desktop, and then the remote app, which lets me put the camera up there. So I can actually talk to myself and look at myself right in the eye as I'm talking to camera. I can see all of my hand gestures. I can see how I'm smiling. So this is huge. This can really give you that instant feedback you need to build your presentation to camera and your camera confidence. And then as far as the teleprompter goes, since I'm not doing the scripted part right now, I just have that behind here. But if I bring that up now, you can see that I've got the hook for the video scripted here. But the cool thing is I have this software called SpeakFlow, and they did not sponsor this video, but I do have an affiliate link for them. I'll drop that in a pinned comment. If you want to support this channel, you can click on my affiliate link and get the software. But the way it works is I can do a brief demonstration where I can show you, if I click here and then click this play button, and as I read what it's saying, it follows along with what I'm saying as I say it. So I can just click play and then say, today in the lab, I'm going to be talking about the reality of being a new YouTuber. This is going to involve me talking about some common challenges and experiences, so you see how it works there. It advances automatically and really fixes that camera confidence problem. The best, in my opinion, the best thing to do for the teleprompter setup right now is this product that Elgato came out with called Prompter. I'll drop another link to what I'm talking about there in the pinned comment. That's what I recommend you using for this whole setup. In my opinion, that's what really helps with camera confidence. It's just so nice to be able to look into the camera and gesticulate, whatever you want to say, and see yourself. And it's just been a total game changer for me in terms of camera confidence and talking to camera. So hopefully that helps some of you other new YouTubers out there. And the other huge thing about scripting and using the teleprompter is that it saves a ton of time and also storage media. I can quickly get a segment of video done in 1 to 2 takes, and I don't have as much stuff to go through when I'm editing, and so it just saves a ton of time in addition to increasing the quality of the video. My next 2 videos will probably be a follow-up on how well this experiment worked or didn't, as well as a video on how I was able to break the 100 subscriber mark myself. So check those out here if you're interested, and if you aren't seeing videos to click on or tap on here, then please subscribe and turn on notifications so you will get notified when they come out. Also, please don't forget to watch Jeremy's video if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.